You are officially America's favorite couple.
That's crazy.
No way. Our best friend set us up at a high school dance in 1985. They were dating. My best friend was dating his best friend that went to a rival high school in Alaska. They set me up with Bryan and we got along. We hung out for a couple of years in 1987.
Yep.
He moved to California and I moved to Utah in 1988 and I went to college and we wrote letters through the mail. This is in the 80s. Long distance.
That's how we connect.
Phone, we had a phone bill. We were in college, we were poor. In 1989, he said, I'm coming to Salt Lake. I want to visit you. He was shopping songs, by the way, just to produce a song and record it at a recording studio close to where my apartment complex was at the time. And he called me the night before when he got to Salt Lake, was staying with a family member or somebody. And he said, I'll call you in the morning to tell you where to meet me. I don't have a car. I'm carpooling, or he had to find transportation. And I lived in the downtown area. And I was like, great, I can't wait to see you. He says, I can't wait to see you either. It had been 2 years.
Yep.
So the morning that I was expecting his call, the phone was dead. And I discovered this because I went to call my mother. She was in Alaska, and the phone was dead. And I'm like, what's wrong with the phone? They were doing construction right in front of our apartment complex. I'm like, oh crap, they hit a phone line. So I went across the hall to the neighbor and their phone line was working. I'm like, that's really strange. Well, I called my phone number to see what was wrong. And it said, this phone has been disconnected. No further information is available. I'm like, what? And so immediately in those days, you can call 0, hit the operator. She comes on. I was like, why is my landline disconnected? And she was like, due to non-payment of service. We haven't received one payment on this account since its inception, and that was in September. So it all started making sense because there were 6 of us that were sharing that apartment. Back in those days, one person had the utilities in her name. And so every month we would just pay her, write a check
To pay the bill.
to her name, a personal check, not to US West Communications, because we were just, young.
And that was the day I was supposed to meet her.
And so in my mind, I'm thinking, he's gonna think I'm ghosting him and did this on purpose, because that's how you used to. You just changed your phone number. I was like, oh my heck, he's gonna think I did this, because we used to play
games in high school, back and forth.
So he's like, great, I came to your turf, and here you do this to me again.
So I left.
But I ran downtown trying to find him, and it started raining. I had to go inside this area I thought he might be in. I looked for him and looked for him, and I never found him. Flew home to Alaska for Christmas, and I was, my mom's like, oh, he's gonna write you. He has your address. When you get back to Utah, you're gonna find something in the mail from him. The volcano erupted in Anchorage, and I couldn't get out till like mid-January to check my mailbox and in Utah, and there was nothing there. We were done.
Nothing there.
I got married, had a family. He got married, had a family. But in the middle of this, those best friends from 1985 ended up finding each other. And they got married about 10 years ago. And when they did, I just said, Bryan's dead to me. He drove off a cliff and died. If he's going to be around, I don't want to be around. So our best friends, they're just adorable. They didn't cross boundaries or any lines. And Debbie would say to me, Bryan's a really nice guy, Jenny. You guys talk about, there's nothing to talk about. He drove away and left me for dead.
Then I was going through a divorce. I was up in Idaho, and my best friend, who's married to her best friend now,
Jerry,
calls me up and says, you need to call Jenny. I said, why would I call Jenny? He goes, because she is a paralegal in Idaho, and she can help you get your attorney. That is why I called her.
Debbie, my sweetest friend in the whole world, she sends me this text. Would it be okay if Jerry gave Bryan Drollinger your phone number? He's going through a really hard time, and he just needs some legal advice. If you could just help him out, that would be really appreciated. So I called my daughter, who's a mental health therapist. I'm like, Mercedes, what do I do? And she's like, Mom, just don't show any emotion. Just be professional, like do an intake like you do with any other client that would call in for the first time, just a cold call just like that. So that's what we did, and it was a da-da-da-da-da. And at the end of the call, he says, Jenny, why didn't we ever get together?
Why didn't we ever meet up?
I was like, we'll talk about that another time. Let's just get your attorney and get you going down the right road, and then we'll have a conversation another day.
So literally.
Me back 10 minutes later, he says, no, I want to know.
To know what
and then I told him, and I went, and he was like dead quiet, and he's like, you still liked me? And I was like, yeah, I tried to find you. And he was like, who do I strangle? But we're not going to say her name.
I have not seen Jenny for 32 years. I go down to a fair.
It's 34 years because last
30
time we saw each other
Oh yeah,
was 1997.
I hadn't seen her in 34 years.
Gosh, for
That's right.
32 years.
That's right. So I go down to where she's at. I'm doing a booth at a fair for the business I'm in, and helping my son out over there. And she shows up to the fair.
You invited me to
I did.
son.
I did. I did.
My son and daughter-in-law. I'm like,
This-
well, I'm going to bring my son and daughter-in-law too then.
And I didn't know she was going through a divorce. I had no idea. She wouldn't tell me anything about herself. And she came to the fair, and that is when
We've been together ever
it's
since.
crazy.